All right. Thank you, Charlotte, for joining me today on my podcast. In today's video, what we really want to talk about is, I'll say, smart technology, whether it be smart home or smart building technology, and how things have changed, right? You used to really be tied into kind of more sophisticated BMS systems, but it's been, I'll call it democratized to some degree, a lot more simpler to get for customers, for end users to get involved in this stuff. So I want to talk about that. But
Mhm.
before I do, I want to introduce you. So you're the ideal person to have on for this thing. So for anyone who doesn't, no one would know actually. So Charla, I've worked with since the beginning of my career. In the first week or two, my father sent me up to Canada to get training from Techmar, and I was put in an office with Charla,
Yeah,
and you were my mentor for 2 weeks.
yeah, you got
Remember
to
that?
hear me go all day on tech support.
That's right. And as a newbie to the industry, it was just entirely. I was like, what is going on here? It was fun though. So yeah, Charla has experience in this world. She's been involved in controls. But do me a favor, give a little introduction of yourself and your experience.
No, 100%. Thanks, Greg. Yeah, my career started in 92. I graduated from British Columbia Institute of Technology, and I took building automation systems. So my knowledge is very narrow, but very deep. And I think those two things kind of combine in how I see buildings and technology evolution. I come sort of from that trades background because BCIT was a trade school. And I tend to see things through that building automation lens when I'm looking at a building and looking at new technologies.
Right.
So after, sorry, I guess I could jump forward. I was fortunate in my career. I got to work at a growing company. So I started in the field maintaining. Then I moved to installing. Then I got to do some programming and design and project management, and spent 10 years at Techmar as the tech support manager. And now I'm in business development with them, and I'm loving it.
All right. Awesome. So again, you're the perfect person to talk to about this. All right, so let's dive right into it. Building connectivity, getting, all the being able to see what's going on with your system or with your, let's say, portfolio of systems has historically really been a customized building automation system. Uh, Things are changing. What's
Yeah.
changing out there?
Yeah, I think what we're seeing is I mean, the internet has changed the world, and it's finally filtering down into all those different building systems, and into our homes. I mean, smart home devices are just taking off. So uh, I like the thought that we kind of, before we started here, the democratization
That's it. Yep.
of building automation systems, right? Because once upon a time, you had to, let's say if I had portfolios, building A might have Honeywell in there, hardwired building automation system, speaking one kind of proprietary language. And then you would have, building B might have Siemens, and it would be very proprietary. You're very locked in, and the installation costs were significant because you're
Right.
you're wiring a network everywhere. And at that time, we weren't using, when I say we, automation companies, we weren't using the Ethernet technology. Like we all plug our computers into the Ethernet in the wall now.
Right.
But back in the day, you essentially ran your own separate building network for automation.
Hmm.
So what is happening now, whether it's smarts and communication built into a boiler, or your hot water tank, or your backflow preventer, a lot of these pieces of equipment are coming with smarts and communicating ability built in.
Right.
And then what you can have, and what we are seeing, is that the Internet of Things is now being applied to HVAC equipment and hydronic equipment, mechanical systems that weren't sexy before, right?
Sure.
And when you get Internet of Things, You get to pull those up to the internet, to the cloud. And lots of different companies have their own sort of cloud-based solution, right? That makes it so much simpler for your building operator, your property manager, your homeowner. All of that stuff gets sucked up, and now you're able to kind of see the data in one place and start to be able to look at it and manage your building and manage your energy consumption.
Okay, so I think that last little bit there was kind of what was going to be one of my next questions was not even necessarily the energy consumption, but the general answer of like, all right, now that I've got data up in the cloud that I can access remotely, like what is the stuff that these people are looking for? Because somehow they all survived before this data was in the cloud. So what makes it valuable?
Yeah, I think the simplest thing right off the bat is the ability to be notified if something is going wrong with your boiler in the apartment building, whether the temperature is too low or too high. You might have to wait in the old days when I was young to get a call from the building owner, or you might have to wait to get an angry call from a tenant who doesn't have hot water or they're
Right.
cold, and there's that time lag and the inefficiency, so that something that might have started off as a really small problem, that if somebody had been able to dial in and look into the system, could have been addressed or dispatched really quickly. Well, now you have to go through the phone chain, and then a guy's got to drive across town to get there. So they survived, but was it efficient
Right.
and was it effective? Not as much
Right.
as it is
And
now.
Lord knows if there was going to be a problem, it was going to be, New Year's Eve, Christmas night,
Oh,
all
guaranteed.
those common ones. Exactly. So
Guaranteed.
no
Yep.
matter what, it's a Friday night, and whatever part you need is, 4 states away,
Yeah.
every time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So it allows you to roll the trucks a lot quicker. And then then you have energy usage. That's
Mm-hmm.
probably getting to be on a lot more people's radars. I know here in New York City, I mean, it's all about energy. What are you
Yeah.
seeing? Is it a common trend everywhere? And are there other metrics that people are looking for as well?
Yeah, there are actually. I mean, energy management and smart, efficient use of energy is on everybody's mind. Even from just an economic standpoint, right? If you're wasting it, or if something is running when it shouldn't be, that's money, dollars lost. So there's
Hmm.
there's that side of it. The second side of it is the regulatory requirements for reporting energy consumption or energy
Hmm.
usage, and being able to pull that information up into the cloud, and now you can manipulate it, whether you have, there are some really rocket science kind of analytics software out there that can pull in all these different pieces of data and spit you out a pretty crazy report. Or you might simply just need to be able to show water consumption, electrical consumption over time, kind of thing. But the other piece of it that is really important, and this is whether you're a property manager and you're just trying to see how the building is operating year on year, or you're somebody who has maybe a service side to your HVAC business or your plumbing business, is the ability to flag when maintenance should be performed. So
Hmm.
you can look at runtime, or you can look at usage, and then schedule performance. Goodness gracious. You can look at the runtime or the energy usage and then schedule preventative maintenance. Say that three times
All
fast,
right.
right? So scheduling maintenance, which is going to prevent repairs and emergencies, like you said, Christmas Eve. And then the other thing is that it allows somebody who is taking care of that building to get inside there quicker and compare. So, we've seen Watts, Techmar's a Watts water company. Watts has their brand of cloud is called Nexa. And we've seen where a company using Nexa has been able to identify when they've had a plumbing failure. And
Hmm.
I'm not a plumber, but it was to do with their softener, water softener, and something to do with the flush cycle running too much. And they were able
Right.
to really narrow down and get into, okay, why is this? What's the difference? year on year, month on month,
Right.
right? And address it. Or there are also, this was a really interesting fact when you look at leak detection. One
Right.
of the guys from a sister brand at Watts was talking about leak detection and talking about how much water is actually wasted by toilets running.
Mm-hmm.
And he said he goes, and do you know how many? He's like, it's like 30% of all toilets in America are leaking at one
It's
time.
incredible.
And he said, I know this because the toilet flapper guys told me. Right?
Yeah, no, I
So,
absolutely believe it. And then the tremendous amount of water, and then that gets wasted. That's utility bills. It's there's
yeah.
energy associated to that.
And
It's
you
just a
don't even
never-ending
know,
cycle. Yeah,
you know?
exactly. Yeah, um, I guess so the Techmar one, but in general, the thing that we're talking about here is these again back to democratization. This like,
Yeah,
hey, we have controls. When I say we, I mean the globally there are controls available out there that are off the shelf controls that that where in the past you had to have sophisticated control systems developed. You now could say, okay, I have a building that has a certain application. Let me go through the little file system and go, okay, oh, this control does that application or does that amongst many other applications, and it can now send stuff up to the cloud as
yeah,
well as help manage multiple portfolios. So it's not just like, oh, let me just get like this one's up in the cloud and another username for this and another. So now you have this access for everything where which to your point is all super valuable, I think, to this end user, the property manager. Um, Whereas before you were probably priced out of it.
yeah. You could be priced out of it because the installation, if you don't get building automation in at the build in construction cycle, it's really punitive to try to put it in after, right?
Right.
And so there's that side of it. And it's we're all familiar with smart home technology. We've got smart plugs, we've all got, the ringer doorbells or the cameras or the security. We see all of that stuff, right? All of that stuff has the Internet of Things built into it. And so now applying it to the broader building systems and leveraging the access to the cloud, that provides a real simple way for customers to pick what's most important for them. Like if you in Canada, we call them stratas, condo buildings. I think in the States you call them home organizations, homeowner associations,
Okay.
right?
Right. HOAs. Yes.
Yeah, leaks in a multifamily dwelling like a condo, leaks are an insurance nightmare. And
Sure. Yeah.
insurance all over is screaming. And you used to have to use, and you can still use, but you used to be using a wireless leak detector with battery to power it. Well,
Hmm.
those batteries don't always last very long. It varies depending, and you could think you have a leak detection solution in place and you don't, right? So the toilet's dripping
Right.
away and nobody knows on the floor, I have a condo, so that's very near to my heart, right? But the Internet of Things in our general home entertainment devices has now transferred over such that they've developed better communication protocols and they've developed better languages. So the two that are really trending right now and are really being taken up by a lot of the big players in the marketplace, whether it's your Googles, your Amazons,
Hmm.
it's Thread and Matter. So
Okay.
Matter is
Let's
the
even take
language.
let me just yeah, that's what I wanted to get. Give me the clarity on what the
Yeah,
heck those things are from like a
yeah,
novice level, and maybe
100%.
some who are some what are some other names out there that maybe someone who's not a novice would go like, oh yeah, I'm
Yeah.
familiar with this one or that one.
Yeah, sure, no worries. So yeah, you've got we used to talk about, well, we all talk about Wi-Fi, right? So Wi-Fi is a communication pathway. Ethernet in your computer, that's a
Okay.
communication pathway. So Thread is another communication pathway, just like
Okay.
Wi-Fi, just like Ethernet. What's really special about Thread, though,
Bluetooth.
Bluetooth is another one. Yeah. Yeah. Those are
Okay.
all communication
Zigbee, is that
pathways.
that's another one,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Yeah. Zigbee was another
I
one.
know
You
a
beat me to
couple.
it. Good job. Yeah. So you had all these communication pathways, and one of the challenges is that they were varying levels of power consumption. So what Thread offers is a low power consumption. So now if you have a battery operated device, whatever it may be, your ringer, now it can communicate for a much longer period of time on that same battery charge. And then when you pair the communication method of Thread with Matter, Matter is a communication language. So it's much like we want to send an email, we connect our computer to Wi-Fi. That's the pathway.
Right.
The language that we're writing our email in is English or whatever your language is, and
Okay.
you send it through that pathway. So Matter is the language that communicates over the pathway of Thread.
Okay.
So, and what it means for the end user, though, again, that low power consumption, but they've also really, because both Matter and Thread use the same kind of technology, the IP technology that the internet's based on, right?
Sure.
They use that same technology. So they are the infrastructure is a lot more robust. We're using the same
Okay.
technology that's been around for 60 years now, right?
The IP
And
technology.
that gives you scalability. It's more resilient. It's more robust. It works better in tough environments like a boiler room, like a basement, like by a hot water tank. So they're
So I'm
really
sorry.
taking what was,
Are you
yeah,
saying the IP bit, or are you saying thread itself is the robust thing?
Thread and Matter use the IP um, protocol and language technologies that the internet uses. So
Okay.
that's what makes them so much more robust and so much, well, just better. I mean, it's an improvement in the technology. I remember when wireless first came out in building automation, the idea was we were just going to use wireless sensors everywhere. And it didn't work great in the beginning, right? Like
Right.
all
Yeah.
new technology, it's not the peak right off the bat.
Mm.
So what you've got with Thread and Matter combined is it's the same kind of strength and power that we all take for granted every day, whether it's our iPhones or our telephones or our wireless computer or Netflix. All of that language and all of that power of the internet is now kind of boiled down, and Thread and Matter are the things that are allowing it to be applied throughout HVAC and building equipments.
Okay. So I guess so it's like to like an end user, property manager, even contractor who's has all these options to choose from, whether it be the Tecmar Nexa or some other brands that are out there. What you're saying is like whatever you pick, like I would recommend this thread and
Yeah.
matter protocols because they seem to be the most robust and are good at this kind of thing.
Yeah, they're really sort of the next step in the wireless communication devices and Internet of Things. So, one really cool thing about Matter as well as the language
Mm.
is it's designed for interoperability between all these different smart home device brands. So, they're not trying to be proprietary. They're
Okay.
trying to talk to all of these different devices because this the end user doesn't care how the talking gets done. What
Right.
we care about
Yeah.
is, does it work? Is it consistent? Is it easy?
Exactly.
And Thread and Matter combined, bringing the power of the existing internet technology together, they give all those three things.
Okay. Now, and I don't know if you would even know the answer to this, but like the only so everyone has heard of Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, and
Yep.
but as far as like a low power model or whatever protocol, the one that I'm familiar with is Zigbee. Would you have any idea of why thread is any better or worse, or maybe there's some things that are better or worse?
Yeah, I don't know as much about Zigbee. I think Zigbee is a higher power consumption than Thread because again, Zigbee is like Zigbee's the pathway, and some pathways take more energy than others. So that's why a lot of smart home device manufacturers are looking at Thread because
Right.
it's a lower power
And
device, right?
maximize battery,
Yeah,
instead of a couple of years, maybe it lasts for 5 years. I mean, that would be the most
yeah,
ideal. Okay,
yeah. Because
cool.
if you think about like, okay, how can we use this in a building, right? I talked a little bit about leak detection, but you can use wireless room temperature sensors now. In New York, I know there's a lot of these older buildings. They were kind of built around the 1914
All
influenza
right,
crisis,
yeah.
right? And so they were designed for big open airflow. They're meant to have lots of air because at the time the science
Right.
said that that was going to help. But what also then comes spins off of that is that there's this you don't have the individual comfort and temperature control in each space. So you've
Mm.
got maybe a boiler, whether it's a steam or hot water boiler, down in the basement, sends all the heat up to the different
Right.
zones
And
and
everyone roasts. Yeah.
right. Yeah. Yeah. Or the guy at the top freezes, or all the windows are open in the winter. I've not yet been to New York to see the phenomenon, but
Oh, you gotta
I've
come. It's great.
yeah. Yeah. So one of the really cool things is, we have a solution. You can put a wireless sensor in every floor. It's a
Mhm.
sensor, it's not a thermostat, but at least now you know what's happening on all the different floors. You don't have to run a bunch of wires now. And you can get that indoor temperature feedback and provide it to the controller in the basement so that the boiler system knows, okay, no matter what outdoor temperature it is, I think I'm supposed to provide this much heat,
Mhm.
but the building's telling me it doesn't need this much heat.
Right. Building
So I'm going to
satisfied.
scale
Yeah.
back,
Okay.
right? So there's two huge things. You get comfort and you get energy savings, right?
Right. Well, so yeah, so now you piece it all together. So you get the comfort, you get the energy savings. Um, you also, again, back to Internet of Things and information in general, that goes back to that control, right? And that
Yeah,
control zips it up to the cloud via your Nexa and the thread and the Matter.
yeah,
And now you have insight into each floor, or potentially even more focus to each individual room.
yeah.
Um,
And your
you,
boiler system knows what to do. And because you're using thread, which is a lower power consumption pathway, you don't have to run around and change all those batteries all the time as much. You're going to have to change batteries because, you know, things
right, of
happen,
course, right.
but less. So less maintenance, more
What about
information.
um, uh, receivers? Is this
Hmm.
a node network where they kind of you bounce off of each other? Tell me a little bit
Yeah,
about that.
exactly. So depending on the size of the building and the construction of the materials, you will need to use the thread. They call them the transmitters, but it's the same thing. It's basically, every second floor, maybe you have one of these transceivers, and then it communicates with the sensors within its range. And what that also gives is not only now does it come back to, the one on its floor, it'll also allow it to maybe reach down to the one on the floor below. And that's that mesh. If you drew the
Mm,
line of the optional communication pathways, that's why they call it mesh technology, which makes it really robust as well. And that's important because, like I said, we want it to be easy and we want it to work.
right. So if one of the transceivers goes offline, it can kind of zip down to the next one. So you kind
Yeah,
of have a self-healing network, right?
yeah, exactly.
All right,
Yeah.
cool. And then what's your thoughts on smart home? Same, is it basically the same stuff? Any kind of variants
Yeah,
that to talk about?
that's a great point. So typically smart home devices and in just your basic, you know, basic suburb kind of house. We tend right now to use it a lot for convenience technologies like robot vacuums. Big fan.
Big fan.
Uh, yeah.
I got
Or
two of them.
yeah, right? I love those things. Or plugins, radio, programmable plugins so the lights can come on and off and
Okay.
or your TV, we use it at that level. I am seeing a lot of the same Internet of Things technology coming down into your fridge, home
Mm-hmm.
appliances, so that you're able to communicate to them. Different, at this point, different appliance manufacturers have their own sort of front end dashboard app,
Mm-hmm.
right? But that's one of the things that I think when we have technologies like Matter and Thread, they're going to drive that interoperability. And that's the part that is going to be really valuable for your average homeowner, right? And then again, we're not seeing it enough, but I think we will as insurance continues to drive things, is leak detection. It's
Oh
not
yeah.
life safety like fire, but we do have, Nest has a smoke detector, so it's not out of the range. But I,
Mm-hmm.
I think you're going to see stuff like that. You're going to see more of the wireless Internet of Things security systems. So whether it's like window detection now or
Sure.
or door detection. And what's really cool is when you get that kind of feedback about the physical state of the house, you can feed that to the cloud, which can talk to your thermostat and tell you, hey, my kid left the porch door open again. I'm not
Right.
going to be right. Or, I'm not going to be doing air conditioning because the door's open, or my door is open and it's minus 30, right? Which in Canada is cold. I have no idea what
Ah,
temperature that is in the
I
States.
think that gets pretty close to where we actually cross paths. I think
Right, there
minus
you
30
go.
is cold no matter where you are, no matter what.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So
We actually,
that would be pretty radical if like, you know, yeah, if there was some control company like such as like Ring or whoever's making these various things, if they had like window detection that then could feed to a system like yours, right? Your thermostats,
yeah,
your controls, and then that could be insight that you could absorb and go, okay, now that I know more about the house and the let's make adjustments. Like, oh, windows open. We're not going to keep the heat so high because clearly nobody cares in that room,
yeah,
right? That would be
yeah,
wonderful if that
yeah.
connection was made.
We actually had, and this was a few years ago, I was at ASHRAE, and that was when our Invita thermostat, and it's a Wi-Fi stat communicating. You got your Nest, you got your Googles, they communicate. But our Alaskan rep came and he was like, "You'll never believe this. I just got an email from my Invita thermostat telling me that the temperature in my living room is, below threshold." And what had happened is his front door had blown open,
Ah,
and his wife and his kids were big late morning sleepers Saturday, right? Or,
right.
and he was like, "We could have froze the house."
Yeah, in Alaska, that's a problem.
Yeah. Yeah. Or you get a bear in. I mean, but whatever. Pick your poison. Right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. What you want to give like a 30-second on Invita? Just what you mentioned it. What,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sure, I should. So the NVIDIA is Techmar's touchscreen color Wi-Fi thermostat. It's got a very thin profile if you think about kind of the size of your cell phone. And the really cool thing about the NVIDIA is it's got two wires. So sometimes a lot of those older thermostats, the twisty Honeywell ones, you've only got two wires to work with. Well, the NVIDIA can give you communication and power over two wires down to your mechanical equipment. And it's got a module there that allows for more traditional thermostat connections. What it means for a homeowner or a renter is if you want to update the look of the thermostat in your space, but without ripping open walls and painting and tearing out wires, you got the nice Wi-Fi color touch screen in the living room, down in the mechanical room or in your furnace room. Now you can terminate the controls. And if you're a homeowner, you want to add a heat pump, right? Because
right.
heat pumps are huge right now.
Yeah, you're
You
telling
can
me.
add
Yeah.
that equipment in on those same two wires.
Right. Yeah. So I love that. It's because it's like, yeah, number one, hey, I want to make this like a Wi-Fi, kind of device, right? But right now I have two wires that goes back to my relay box or whatever. So like, boom, you got that. Now you got Wi-Fi access. Super simple. But also, hey, we just did a renovation on the house. We added a heat pump system or what have you, central air system. You now via that box that's in the mechanical room have all your other, it's almost like a little relay box of its own that can then now turn on whatever the heck you need. So
Yeah.
super great retrofit application kind of thing. I love it.
Yeah, a lot of folks are doing that, whether we call them dual fuel systems because you've got your basic, whether it's a forced air furnace or boiler, whatever your traditional source of heat, and then you want to bring in that heat pump, which is going to give you heat at lower energy costs during when it's not really cold out. And then as it gets colder out, you want to switch back to that traditional source of heating. So we call that dual fuel. And the really important thing is not to run your traditional source of heating and your heat pump at the same time. It's not good for your heat pump.
Right.
And you want to know when to switch over based on the
Right.
outdoor temperature. And that's one of the things that the Envita is really good at is controlling that kind of combined equipment.
Right. Yeah. No, it's a super cool control. All right. Let me ask you, what did we miss? What should we touch upon if anything else in terms of I guess the building automation, information control? What should people, is there anything people should be looking for when making a decision that we didn't discuss?
Yeah, 100%. I think they should be looking for traditional plumbing devices or plumbing equipment that is coming with smarts built into it. So I mentioned that Techmar is a Watts Water company, and traditionally, this is going to shock you, Greg. Plumbing has not been seen as sexy.
What do you, no,
I
nuh-uh.
know,
I
I
don't
know.
think so. I don't think you're
I don't
wrong.
think so either. I don't make those crazy rules, right? But Watts wants to change that, put the parts and smarts in all those different pieces of equipment that are usually hidden away behind walls. You don't know where they are. You don't necessarily know what they're doing until there's a problem. Put the Internet of Things into them, have it come up to the cloud. Ours is Nexa. There's different clouds out there. And now you're starting to piece together the intelligent water systems
I
in your
love that.
building.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
rather than just saying, "Hey, we have a smart control that we can monitor," which like at the very least do that, but hey,
Yeah.
get other equipment that does that then feeds back to this smart controls. This way you got to listen, you got to put this stuff in your building anyway. Might as well be able to
100%.
get
Yeah.
access to it remotely.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love it.
That's it. And because it comes with the intelligence built in, that's the easy, that's the reliable, that's the consistent, right?
I
So,
love it. Um, one final question. And this is going to be an ad for Techmar.
I like that.
Yeah. Um, so I think it is. I hope it is. A lot of people charge for this access. Where does Techmar stand on the Nexa platform right now?
Right. Yeah, I'm really glad you brought that up, actually. So the Nexa platform, that smart stuff built into all the different pieces of your intelligent water system, we don't charge for that. So you can get remotely all the information. Techmar has a solution for the New York market, really. It's that boiler control down in the basement, has the Nexa smarts built into it, has the thread technology, all those indoor sensors communicating down, and then anything that you can look at on our smart boiler control and go through the menu, you can also see all that information over the cloud at Nexa. You don't have to pay for that. So you can access it, you can make changes on the fly, you can get wheels on the road faster. You have to be connected to the internet,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
It's not magic yet. Um,
It will be one
but
day.
yeah, and then you can have that dashboard. Let's say you have 10 buildings like that, right? The other really neat thing is with the smart boiler controls, in particular from Techmar, if you connect them to Nexa, you get 2 more years added to your warranty on your smart bullet control. So that takes it from 3 to 5 years.
That's that's significant. I mean, that alone is significant. And then again, the fact that it's free. It's free to
Yeah,
have all this stuff
yeah,
remotely because generally speaking, it's like people will give away, this, and then it's like, okay, to have really any access or usability of it, we're gonna charge you.
yeah,
And the reality of it is, um, people don't realize this, but like every one of these buildings is its own profit and loss center, and they're getting banged from literally everybody wants a subscription fee. Everybody is, hey, to do
yeah,
this, you're going
yeah,
to charge you annually. To do this, it's annually. And so it all adds up,
yeah,
and they just don't want to add another one onto the list.
yeah. Yeah, no, it's that is very true, and it's no news to anybody. It's tighter out there. Everybody is kind of struggling and trying to do less with more, more with less. I don't know. You could edit
Yeah,
that
one
out
of the two.
or leave it
One of
in
the
and
two.
laugh at
We'll
me. I don't
figure it
care.
out. All right,
Yeah,
perfect. All
but
right,
yeah, we're all trying to do a better
right,
job with the little that we're given. So any little tool helps. One less description definitely helps.
totally. All right. Anything else we got to hit?
I think so. It's been a pleasure. You're a very good interviewer.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, I can't wait to have you back on, and we'll talk about some more stuff. We'll make this a little bit more of a regular thing. What do you say?
Thumbs up. Sounds good.
Awesome.
If
All
I
right.
don't speak to you before, happy 4th of July. And I know it's Independence Day. So
Thank you so much. All right.
you're
Well, it was
welcome.
a real pleasure, and I look forward to talking to you again. All right.
Thanks. Bye,
Bye bye.
guys.